Hello, everyone. I am Tacit, and welcome to the Gems of War. What are we at these days? Campaign 26, Week 7. Today, we got a couple things going on. The most noteworthy of which, of course, is the brand new PvP reset. And with it, the arguably best PvP season we have had yet, as far as how absurdly good the Immortal is. So the Immortal this season is very strong. It is the strongest ever targetable Immortal to ever come out, as Ossifer previously was the strongest overall Immortal, but was not ever targetable. So even if you consider Ossifer as stronger than him, he's never actually been targetable. Whereas this guy is. So he's just definitively the strongest troop to ever be targetable. He is a goblin with invulnerable, as you would expect from one of these, but also still has auto extra turn while having invulnerable, meaning it's immune to, of course, freeze, as well as many other things, but most notably freeze. Deals a bunch of true damage to 3 random enemies at a number that honestly isn't that bad. It's basically just a normal number, which if that's all it did, it wouldn't be that great, but of course that is not all it does. It's boosted by wish gems that, like many of these mechanics, just isn't enough to really be that big of a deal. And if using Broken Lands, obviously deals double damage. But what makes all this so strong is gain extra turn with immune to stun, immune to freeze, immune to, everything. You can't curse freeze it, you can't do anything like that. And its final trait's really interesting. Creates a wish gem when its turn begins. This creates, I believe, 3 of them when it's fully maxed out, if you were to ever get it eventually to level 30. And this is very strong for mana accumulation, given that he himself is a very high mana cost. Actually, I believe this is actually the highest mana cost troop in the entire game that has a wish gem mechanic attached to it. Even when you consider him having his reduced number of 26. I don't know, let me double check. Wish gem. What is the... Yeah, he's by far the highest. Even at 26 mana when you fully max him, or almost fully max him, he is still the highest mana cost wish gem troop in the entire game by quite a mile. The next closest is Fairy Godmother, which is only a 50% chance to create a wish gem every turn instead of 100%. So even in that regard, it's already better. It's basically what the Theodorvish does, except on a troop that's actually viable. But, yeah, that is such a mana difference. Even in best case scenario, he's still 26 mana compared to Fairy Godmother's 22%, while having 100% Wish Gem mechanic compared to her 50% chance. That alone is already insane. Then he has a more consistent ability that's way better for damage output and always does the same thing. Still has that guarantee extra turn, has immune to, like, everything, where she's immune to absolutely nothing. But yeah, it is very strong. Of course, we still have Merkulurk and Dirk, which is still pretty decent. He's basically like the low rarity version of, I guess, of this thing to some degree. But yeah, this thing is just insanely good. And yeah, nice little utility. You can go and target him directly too by doing Epic Burning Chest. Not this week though, it's a bad week to do with Epic Burning Chest. But we'll be keeping an eye out through this and probably stacking all of our future burning marks in order to go and yeah, if 30 is down whenever it's a really good week. Like when this is Immortal Ossifer and Furnex and like one other option. It will probably be the week that we go for it and just dump them all and get a bunch of copies of him. To try to maximize him as much as we possibly can throughout the season. We also did get another Immortal too. Also, by the way, we finally got Gemini. Not sure if you guys saw it on the video earlier today. But we finally got Gemini after like 3 to 4 PvP seasons. This thing has existed for like a year almost. And we have finally got it as of this morning. When we ended up recording the video. Got it like right at the end when we threw a couple of burning marks. I was trying to also get this. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. This ends up creating... this is the other one that was added today. His ability is pretty lackluster, but he ends up creating 2 web gems every single turn, which is not that bad. It's an okay amount of purple mana accumulation, but more notably, it is among one of the best webbers in the entire game as far as how much webs you can end up getting from that trait. So, yeah, it's not bad. Obviously, we need quite a bit of copies before it can actually get rolling with all those traits and everything. But yeah, we'll be worrying about it at a later time, as our main priority, of course, is going to be to try to get Immortal Trog Goblin to as high as we possibly can. Anyways, but yeah, in other news, the other thing that we have going on this week, of course, is this is the final week that we need to underspire to a full degree. Of course, we'll just be doing the 150 torches today, but I'll be stacking them all throughout the week. And probably on Sunday, we'll do a stream to finally go complete out Underspire. Obviously, we'll still probably be completing it out on other weeks. I might just not be streaming it necessarily. But this is the final week that we need to do to go get the achievement. If you've been keeping up with it every single week since the achievement, which was 5 weeks ago, this is the 5th week. So it is finally completable to go get the 2 new achievements that came out in the most recent patch of 9.0. So I'll be trying to complete that out on Sunday then, as well as working on it slightly today if we can make some progress on it. And beyond that, of course, the main thing we're going to be going for first is the raid event. So much so, let's go there now and go say hello to everyone because I haven't said hello yet. Let's see. Let me go get the team in here. Yeah, we're just rolling this for now. Let me just run that in first slot. We're just running quick kill into hero weapon thing. Yeah, we should be good to go. Alright. Anyways, hello everyone! Actually, that's not the right chat. Where's the other one? Hello everyone! Hello, Tyrion! Hello, Mulu! Hello, Warhammer! Bill Warhammer. Hello, Ron! Hello, Imperial! Hello, Jets! Hello, Isabel! Hello, yeah! Hello, Cookie! Oh yeah, I did say I would hand out the special code today, didn't I? This is the one for January, right? I think it is. I think this is a January code. It looks like a January code. But I need to go hand this out today, don't I? Because today, yeah, because the, PvP rework, I think I was going to go do it today. So after we go finish out the raid event, we'll go hand out the special pet code. I have no clue what code it is. I think it's one of the old Australian Day pets or something, based on its name. But, yeah, I'll be handing that out in a little bit. We'll hand it out after probably completing out raid event then. Our only code of the month. But yeah, we only have one code to hand out every single month now. But it is a pet code every single time, if nothing else. Though I guess that's slightly less relevant given that it's so much easier to get pets with the new pet system since a couple patches ago, ever since the 11-year anniversary patch. 11 weeks it will be the main immortal on Epic Burning Chest. Yeah, that was the plan. Would be a good time to buy Epic Burning Chest. Yeah, that was the plan. I'm just going to be stacking them up throughout the entire season. And then waiting for like an Immortal Ossifer plus Infernus. And just dump them all then. Maybe we'll only do it when one of them is there, but I ideally want to wait until we get a double. Like, I want at least 2 good Immortals there if we can help it. Yeah, that's pretty much the game plan. Just stack up a bunch of Burning Marks, and then on a really, really good event week, dump them all. Hopefully on like the 8th, 9th, or 10th week. But of course, the closer it gets to the end, the more RNG you'll have on if you actually get a good week or not. Wait, did my team order not save? Why is my, they're supposed to be in first slot right now. Why is he all the way in my 3rd? That's weird. Let me go change that back. I think when I went out the menu, it didn't save my team order. There we go. Alright, fixed. Yeah, Rubraff's really good for all the events this week. One of the few times when a Gem Dragon isn't useless is on like a weekly restriction like this. Because under most circumstances in the current state of the game, you would pretty much never use Rubraff. However, he's really good for the raid event this week, and he's really good for Underspire this week. Definitely not required for either, but he's the strongest thing in either category that hits all enemies simultaneously. Unless you're doing like Zachi spam. What's that little clip bomb? Welcome, welcome. You've already bought the pass and you've got him to a mirror level 8 already? Nice. Yeah, I do want to rush PvP a little bit. I don't think we're going to be doing it as big of a focus this week. Though this Sunday maybe we'll go grind a little bit. Today we'll probably just do dailies for it and everything. But sometime before the end of this month, I do want to push for 180,000 points. Something that we normally take the full 10-week period on. But I do kind of want to rush it a bit, just so by the end of the month or so, we can go cover the Immortal. I want to do it before the New Year event, or, you know, the Lunar New Year event for the Year of the Horse, I believe it is. But I want to try to get him upgraded before then, so we can cover a video on the Mythic, of the current PvP Mythic. Because bare minimum, we need him to be fully traded. So technically we could cover him next week if we really want to, I guess. Because the main thing that matters is, do we have all the traits or not? So, you know, maybe we'll cover it next week then. I definitely want to cover it before the end of the month regardless. Shouldn't be that hard to get him to level 4. Like, we could probably have that done by next Monday. Get him to, like, you know, fully traded. Yeah, that shouldn't require much at all to get done. Because realistically, that's the only thing we really need for now. Obviously, we'll have lower mana costs and other things down the line. But as long as he's fully traded, we'll pretty much get to see exactly what he gets to do. The only other things he would get is slightly lower mana cost, slightly higher stats, stuff like that. But it's not like core mechanics. I guess the main core mechanic that would be different is, of course, whenever he does 3 Wish Gems instead of 1. But even after the entire season, we're not going to have enough copies to have him fully maxed. He'll definitely be pretty far, but not that far. Let's argue. Glacia is the best immortal. She's definitely the best immortal for the location, if nothing else. Which is a category of immortal that exists these days. Where it might not be the best immortal overall, but it's the best immortal for a given location. And Glacia is the best immortal for her location, for sure. Ossifer is pretty high up there as the best immortal in the game. I would even say fully maxed Ossifer is stronger than fully maxed of the Goblin. It's a lot easier to fully max the Goblin than Ossifer. Like, if you've been making it your goal since Ossifer came out to max him, you'd be closer to maxing out the Goblin than you would be on Ossifer. Even if it was your sole goal to try to max Ossifer, you'd be closer to maxing the Goblin by the end of the season than you would be of Ossifer. It's that big of a disparity since Ossifer has never been targetable. Or, you know, not from a season. Whereas, of course, this Goblin has been for the duration of this entire 11-week period. Because Immortal Ossifer fully max is kind of insane. 4 times Curse Stun is really broken. I'm not sure if a single person in the entire game even has max Ossifer, though. It'd be really expensive to try to get. Not only would you have to have bought in every PvP season up to this point, which is like already over $100, but on top of that, you would also have to probably have bought in some of the other things to offset it some, beyond just the PvP seasons. And even then, it's still RNG, if you would have gotten him all the way or not, since he's never been directly targetable, other than, you know, burning marks or something. Since he's never been the featured mythic. Or the featured immortal, I mean. Yeah, Immortal Leo is technically just a better Immortal Glacia. But it has the same issue that Immortal Ossifer does, in that it's never been targetable directly. Whereas Immortal Glacia was the targetable one from the very first season. Whereas Leo just came in last season, but was the secondary mythic. I still to this day never understood why they add 2 Immortals per season. Because it basically makes it so you can never have all Immortals max. It is physically impossible regardless of how much resources you spend on the game. Because if they only added 1 every season, it would make sense. Because that way, if you actually bought the season pass and, you know, were really focused on getting it maxed during the season, you'd basically at some point be able to perpetually have every Immortal maxed. But the way they have it set up, it is physically impossible to ever have all Immortals maxed, regardless of what you do. Like, it's just one feature that is physically impossible to ever have fully completed. And that's the idea of money. But the thing is, even with infinite money, it would still be impossible, though. You'd be closer to it, obviously, but even with infinite money, you would never be at a point where you'd have every Immortal max at one given time. You'd be closer than people not spending money, of course. But you would never reach a point where you're like, okay, I'm done with all Immortals. Oh, hopefully that thing doesn't run away. Okay, good. We got lucky. Oh, nice. We got to this spell. If you're wondering why we're running Mech Hero class, even though there's almost like no submerges here, that is why. Even if nothing else in the team is submerging, Maelstrom Daganov always has submerge on a hit. So once we reach those later battles, if we're still running a team like this, it allows us to regain our chip damage on him. Which allows our raid troop to be able to kill it easier. We've been cheese testing him in level 12 Explorer and Underworld, where you can just see how powerful, and Trog does spam really good. Yeah, it has a lot of potential given that it has the guarantee wish gem every turn. That alone is already kind of insane. Given that the next best troop that has wish gem every single turn is nearly useless. Like the Theodorovich or whatever it was called. Because a lot of the other ones don't have guarantee wish gem. That was always one issue that Fairy Godmother had. It's not a 100% chance for a wish gem. But just him having a singular 100% wish gem is kind of already pretty insane. While having full immunity to any effects that would ever stop him from being able to do it. Because you know every single turn you have a 100% chance of it happening. Not just because the gem spawns 100%, but because you can't curse, stun it, or anything like that. So unless he's literally gonna die, there's a 100% chance that's completely uninterruptible that he'll create a wish gem. Which is exceedingly consistent. They haven't had the chance to really mess around with them yet. It's definitely something we're going to be focusing on a bit more next week. Once we have him, like, you know, traded up and everything else, and have him, like, a decent amount of stats. I don't know, maybe we'll cover it this Friday as well. Since there's not really much happening this Friday other than the faction event that's not bringing anything particularly relevant. So maybe we'll cover a Friday Mythic video as if he's the new Mythic this Friday. Because I should have him level 4 by then, I don't see why we wouldn't. So I really should have gotten a little bit more mana on the other guy first. That's the only problem with using him in a slightly blocked location. Because I'm kind of depending on like 3 turns going by to get into full mana. So a question you were asked this morning, you weren't 100% sure on the, but you swear you've heard you explain this years ago now probably. Hey, what was the question? Oh yeah, you were mentioning that earlier during the other stream. Are Orpheus medals affected by stun? Yes. When you are stunned, Orpheus medals do not trigger. This is mostly because they're counted as a, they're like affixes and suffixes that used to be in the game. Affixes were never affected by stun. These are things that basically affect like your weapon and some other trait things that they added for a very short duration that were basically removed from the game. But affixes are never affected by stun. But all suffixes are, which includes everything that is related to a trait or related to like anything that's ever put on this screen right here. So anything you ever see on this screen can be stunned away. And that doesn't already trigger at the start of battle, obviously. And Orpheus Medal is one of the things that's considered a suffix on this screen and can be stunned away. So it's rather ironic, but even though it's the thing that can cleanse you, Orpheus Medal can be stunned off of you. It is the only medal in the game that can be stunned off of you because it's the only one that doesn't trigger at the start of battle. Because they end up putting it under the trait section rather than under the, like the on-cast section. So it can be stunned off of you. But yeah, it's a really niche old mechanic. The affix system pretty much isn't even used at all other than for weapons because they removed all other instances of it from the game, the few that used to exist. But the suffix thing is used for medals, It's used for, obviously, hero with all the perks that it ends up getting. And I think it's also used for some buffs from Underspire. It's still used. That was one of the other ones that wasn't removed. Like, whenever you get a buff of something from Underspire, or Underworld, I mean, it goes into your suffix location, which is this big menu over here as far as all of them. But yeah, that includes all the hero traits. It includes all Underworld buffs, and it includes all metal buffs. But the main reason why metals seem like they're not affected is every metal except for Orpheus triggers at start of battle. And of course, anything that triggers at start of battle can't be stunned off of you, because they would have already triggered before they get stunned. Do I really not have any alignment? Oh, there we go. So you have a question. Where does the text show during battle the damage boost like they used to show on your attacks? Damage boost. What do you mean by damage boosts? Like your boost ratio? Or all the extra stats that you're getting? Because all your extra stats show in the middle screen, if this is what you're referring to. It's a lot easier to see outside of battle, but they do all show on this screen. Here's our artifact boosts. Here's our medals. There was the team bonus right here. Here's the fact that Suncrest event, him gaining 10% extra stats. There's one of our pet bonuses. But yeah, this is where all the stat buffs are. It's a lot easier to see outside the menu, though, because you can see them all at once. And here's the boost ratio for your ability. But yeah, that's where both of those are. But yeah, they're still visible. Actually, I don't even think they've ever been moved. And there's a convenient way to see them out of battle as well that's a little bit easier to see, which is your bonuses tabs over here. So here's all of our extra stats from levels. Here's all of our extra stats from the statues from guild. Here's all of our bonus stats from faction. Here's all of our bonus stats from various team bonuses, as well as pet bonuses that are applying to it. Here's all of our bonuses from medals, and here's all of our bonuses from the current seasonal event, which is a little bit easier to see compared to the other menus, since you can see it all at once very quickly. Oddly enough, the one that doesn't show there, though, I guess that's because it's for the entire team and not just for him. It doesn't actually show the 10% one of this one. It doesn't show down the breakdown for this, like the week of Suncrest. It'll actually show us how much extra stats we're getting from the week of Suncrest for that specific troop. Which actually one thing that that menu that we just showed does not actually show is the per troop breakdown of how many stats you're getting from the current weekly 10 or 20% bonus. Hello, Lester! Welcome, welcome. On PS5, the screen is absent in certain visibility after the past patch. Oh no! That's not good. Yeah, no, the only thing they really broke on PC Mobile in that regard is the screenshot screen. I guess it was a bit of an oversight since I'm like one of the only few people in like the entire game that bothers to use it. But they actually removed the screenshot screen for from the game. Like it still exists, but a lot of the features that it used to have were completely removed in the most recent patch. But there is a way around it, which I've been still using for the thumbnails. It's just a bit more annoying to do, but there is a very easy workaround. Because they have such a delay when you get to the other screen that if you ever want to screenshot something, you just click on this and you can see the interface just goes and hides for a second. You just very quickly click the screenshot button in like that 1 second delay before everything pops in. And then you get a nice clean screenshot of the troop and everything with the background. But yeah, that's how I've been doing it recently. In like that slight 1 second when everything fades away, you take a screenshot of that and then boom, that's basically the old screenshot method. It's a lot more annoying to do now, but hey, it still works. Gets the job done. I've been using that for the thumbnail lately, since the other feature doesn't work anymore. Or at least not the way it used to. Alright, we're just gonna let him get to full mana naturally. Got one more turn and we're good to go. Do that one to the boss, and then let's get our mana. Like explored on 4 times match for elementals, for example, or barrier on brown. Yeah, barrier on brown and 4 times explode can be stunned off too. Like any perk on hero can be stunned off if it's not start at battle. Even if the hero has immune to stun, because you can be curse stunned. You didn't use any of your idols or claim your PvP goal rewards last week. So they started with 7k PvP without playing a match? Nice. Oh, this is definitely the season to get a head start on, so... Technically, saving your medals is actually somewhat strategic this time around. Just because the season is so ridiculously good. It's one of the few times where not spending the medals is actually pretty useful. To get a head start on getting the new goblin maxed. But yeah, we'll hand out the special code as soon as we go finish out raid event. Then we'll go clear through basic dailies. Go clear out some PvP. Probably just doing bare minimum for PvP today, even though we do plan on doing quite a bit of PvP in the near future. Today's probably just going to be a bare minimum day on it, though. And then, of course, go start clearing through Underspire. This is the final week that we have to go do a full Underspire clear. After this week, it becomes a bit more optional since we'll have the achievement done. I don't know, I might still keep going for it for a while. It's a bit time-consuming, but the rewards is just so worth it. I guess what, about 3-ish hours across the entire week? Like 2 to 3. Probably close to 3 overall. But it's very worth it for the rewards that you get within that time. For roughly 1,000 gems. The payout is just so good. Especially if we can get at least one more Guardian troop before they end up making a guarantee way of getting them. Because if we only need to target one of them instead of 2, that would probably drastically reduce down the cost. Unless it costs diamonds, in which case we really don't care what they cost. It could cost like 100,000 diamonds and it wouldn't even touch our stack. I hope we have more info on that in the near future. Because the most recent patch did say that they're going to be considering adding Guardian troops in Soulforge. They just don't know how they want to price it yet. But once they do, that is 100% viable regardless of cost to go finish out for the final 2. Especially for the final 1. But the final 2, whatever the cost is probably still worth it. Because that's currently the most annoying thing in the entire game to fully complete out. As far as things that realistically can be completed out. Like, going on rate is over an hour, a year-long grind. Of doing, the faction, or, you know, doing Underspire every single week. For over a year is required to go on rate. And of course you can go over drop rate. And just keep getting duplicates of ones you already have. As it has absolutely no dry protection on it. Ideally what they would have done is you would get 1 copy of each first, and then start getting duplicates. That would have kind of fixed every issue to begin with. If you just simply got 1 unique of each before you started getting any repeats. So I gotta be careful. He actually is reaching full mana just because Rubraf's blocking our mana so much. He does fill pretty quick since he uses all 6 colors. It's one thing rather unique about 6-color troops. Is even if they have a high mana cost, they really don't. Because if you break down what their mana cost effectively is per, you know, color that they're using, he's technically a 6 mana cost troop. If you break it down that way. Obviously, he's not actually a 6 mana cost troop. But effectively, if you're mass mana accumulating every... Oh, don't run away. No! That's unfortunate. Oh, rip points for the guild. But if you effectively break down, you know, relative to how many colors he has, he's effectively a 6 mana cost troop if you're mass mana accumulating every color simultaneously. In practice, he's obviously way higher than a 6 mana cost troop. But he's technically a 6 mana cost troop. It's one of the reasons why things like Flower Dragon and stuff are so strong. It's basically a 7 mana cost troop. Not actually, but technically. If you're mass mana accumulating every color simultaneously. It's one of the reasons why Essence of Evil and some other things like that can be so annoying to get up. Because having to feed 15 or 20 mana into one singular color is way harder than trying to feed like 30 to 35 into a 6-color troop. Oh, I actually didn't want an extra turn there. It was more strategic if we would have passed our turn, so we could just immediately go kill him. It's also one of the reasons why all the immortal weapons are so bad. They're like 20 mana cost for their ability. But as it's such a high mana cost for one single color. Especially when you have to compete with weapons like Essence of Evil and other similar things that are just so strong. So thank you, Jason, and thank you for the continued support. Greatly appreciated. And welcome, welcome, welcome. Lilo says hi. Hello, Lilo! So whenever I hear that name, I think of like Lilo and Stitch. I never did see the remake. Mostly because I haven't really... Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I've seen a single live-action remake of any movie yet. Have I? I don't feel like I have. I did for Willy Wonka, but technically the original was already a live-action. So it's not really a live-action remake in that sense. As the original literally already was a live-action. I know, I'm lucky. I know. I haven't seen Disney's bad era yet. Mostly because I haven't really been going out to movies since the pandemic, like at all. What even was the last movie I've even seen? I can't even remember, honestly. I know I saw How to Train Your Dragon 3 in... What was that? 2019? 2018? Is that the last movie I've actually seen? Now that I think about it. Because what have I seen since the pandemic? Because I'm not sure why. The answer is none? I could have sworn it was at least one. Well, I guess I saw the Willy Wonka with family. Because I think that was 2021, wasn't it? Oh no, was that the most recent movie I've seen? It might be, actually. It was pretty average. Oh, do we have blue to yellow here? We'll stick that for now. I know, I think it's mostly because I mostly just like animated movies, and there just hasn't really been many good animated movies in recent years. Because Pixar has been mega downhill. And DreamWorks hasn't really been doing too much that's been relevant. I guess they have had a few, I just haven't bothered seeing them. Like, the Puss in Boots sequel wasn't that bad. At least compared to how bad the first one was. They set a really low bar, though. Let's see. I'll take that one over. Oh, so thank you, Rob, for the continued support. Greatly appreciate it as well. We could use some new metal. I don't know why they've never added new metals. Back when they added that mechanic in 2019, I was like, oh, this will be fun. They'll add probably like a new metal every year. And not counting Medal of Seasons, or let's count Medal of Seasons. They haven't added a new medal since like 2020 then, if you count Medal of Seasons. And if you don't count Medal of Seasons, they have literally never added a new medal. Because Medal of Seasons basically just replaces out the Urania medal. As it's just a slightly better version of what already was there. But yeah, they've gone like 6 years without adding a single new medal. which is kind of crazy. As that would have been such a nice feature to drip feed more metals into. And they could still monetize it. Like, all they would have to do is add a new metal to the Explore drop table. But then, you know, add a money option to go and just get it instantly. Like, oh, we just added this new ultra rare metal, or this legendary metal, or mythic metal to the drop table for Explore. But if you want it instantly, hey, you can give us some money. Like, it'd be so easy to monetize, but still also be infinitely farmable. Yet they have never added a new metal, which is just so weird. I don't know why they've never gone around to it. Maybe it's just really spaghetti coded. How they end up doing metals or something. Why is this blinking? There we go. Let's see. We'll throw that one over. No Demon Hunter for Tacit? No, I have no clue what that is. That'll get full mana automatically. Oh, come on. Once again, I didn't want extra turn there. I keep wanting to pass our turn so we can get mana quicker. Alright, looks like we got about 8 to 10 more battles, unless our Val Ravens run away again. Which is kind of unfortunate, but the guild's probably going to get enough points by the end of the week. That's not too big a deal. A gold boost medal? That would actually be kind of cool. There's so many more medals that they could add of literally already existing mechanics. It's a live action Anemia. I have no clue what an Anemia is. Is that anime adjacent? Oh, I kind of needed that troop. Are we actually going to die here? That's something I haven't seen in a very long time. Actually dying to raid troop. Which I'm not sure if we've ever even have died to that series of raid troop yet. All we really need to do is give Rubrath full mana and we should be fine. You haven't watched any anime in like 15 years? I want to say 15 years. Like literally since high school. Was the last time I've seen any anime at all. Can one of you young kids explain Demon Hunter to one of us old folks? Yeah, I have no clue. I've heard it some in passing, but I still have no clue what it is. Attack on Titan is pretty good. Yeah, I've heard that one's pretty good. I've heard Full Metal Alchemist is pretty good. The problem with a lot of anime series is they go on for so long. Like, I've heard One Piece is decent, but isn't it over like 1,000 episodes or something? Like, it's some kind of absurd number. Like, you'd have to dedicate a year to just catching up on the series, basically. It is so long. But I'm not sure if I would ever get back into anime in any degree. I've technically never really been that into it. I've seen it some. But, oh no, it's just not something I really ever got into. Because Western animation has definitely been downhill lately. Aside from indie animation's actually been pretty solid lately. Like the Amazing Digital Circus from Glitch, as well as, I haven't been watching it recently, but Hell of a Boss was pretty good from, what's that one company called? I don't remember what they are. But indie animation's been doing pretty good as far as Western animation. But beyond indie animation, there hasn't really been much going on in Western animation that's been particularly good. At least on, like, the high end of it. And part of that is because Disney's been ruining everything. Since they bought out Pixar and everything else. And DreamWorks has always been pretty hit or miss on almost everything. They only hit well like 1 out of 5 times. Like when they hit well, they hit really well. But they seem to struggle to do that consistently for some reason. What do we even take here? I'll take that for now so we can get a better convert. Oh, so we're almost outside our range of being able to one-shot the boss troop. That won't be as big of an issue in this category, just because we will be able to go and chip them down with Rubrath. But it's still concerning once we get to the point where we no longer one-shot, just outright. I think for today it won't matter much, but of course we'll have more battles throughout the week that we'll need to push. Alright, looks like we got 4 battles left. And then we'll go hand out the code, and then we'll go clear out everything else. Oh, the old Looney Tunes animations? Yeah, I've seen quite a few of those back in the day. Hello, Jamie! Welcome, welcome. Yeah, we do have a code to hand out today. Do I just let it run? Do we risk it? I'm gonna risk it. No, I shouldn't have risked it! I was more scared of just losing outright. But we lost the Valraven. Very unfortunate. Again, yeah, we did do a stream earlier today as well. For good old Brighter Shores. They had like a new quest thingy going on. Still been covering everything new with that. I haven't really been doing any longer streams for it just because it's been a bit content dry for the last like half a year or so. Well, whenever anything does happen with the game, we just go over it. Definitely haven't been doing it as much as we were like this time last year, that's for sure. We're still doing it like several hours a day. Alright, there we go. We got all of our battles in. Unfortunately, with 2 Valraven misses, though. That's kind of rough. Oh, nice. We got the really cool portrait of the new bird. But yeah, that is really rough. Because I believe this is what we score if we didn't lose 2 Valravens. And this is what we actually scored because we did lose 2 Valravens. Though it could have been worse. We could have lost 3 Valravens. Actually, I think that's 2 Valravens lost and a battle. So we technically could have done worse. Still not ideal, though. But we should get enough points in by the end of the week with everyone contributing like that. Well, not everyone, but, you know, a good number of people. Did we ever get a 30th person yet? No, we didn't. Still need to go get a 30th person. Had to kick someone who's been inactive for a couple weeks. And we still have some people who are, like, middle activity that I'm not sure what to do with at the moment. Where they're pretty much almost doing bare minimum, but they're still kind of slacking in other regards. But they've definitely been trying. I'm not sure if we kicked them or not. There's like 5-ish new recruits that are kind of in that category. I figure we keep them around for a little bit to kind of help them out. But it might be close to the point where I might need to kick them. These are definitely way less active than like a normal person in the guild. But they've definitely been trying to relative to where they are in the game. Oh yeah, the game is really grindy. I think to fully max out in Brighter Shores is upwards of like 6,000 hours or something in the current state of game. They're doing some quality of life in the next month that would make that a little bit quicker, as well as a bunch of other updates in the next year. But even after every update is in, it's probably a good 5,000 hours to fully max in that game. Which is a very, very long amount of time. Especially compared to some other big MMOs. I'm not sure what it is in World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy. But I know something like RuneScape, which I think is like the 3rd biggest MMO these days. It's roughly like 2,000 to 3,000 hours to max in that game. Probably close to 3,000 hours realistically. And Brighter Shores is already double that. Which is pretty long to say the least. Alright, there we go. All those dailies done. Isn't Brighter Shores dead? Yes and no. They're still developing it, so it's not dead yet. But yes, the player-based numbers are like a 10th of like Gems of War, if even that. Like probably even lower than that. Like I don't even think it hit 300 concurrent today with a new update. Like literally on an update day, I don't even think it reached 300 concurrent. And it's the only platform it's on, too, so that's like the 100% of the player number. Oh yeah, I forgot to go hand out the code. Let me go do that right now. Let me go do that. Alright, we got this super mega special code. Or technically the only codes we have these days. I believe these have pretty low amount of claims, so definitely make sure to take them quickly. Use it on gemsofwar.com and underneath the game code section. There you guys go. Right there. Alright, there you guys go. It's one of the old Australian Day pets. You finally got your achievement to pop the Paragon today? Nice! Huge congrats. Very, very nice. Yeah, we would have had it last week if we would have went for the easier battle. We didn't end up ultimately doing that, though. If we're going to get Paragon, we're going to get it legitimately. I want to get Paragon off of, like, a perfect 5-0 streak on a given week with really high score. I don't want to cheese it like we could have last week. If we're going to get it, we're really going to get it. And next season, we have a chance. It's Divine Restriction, which means pretty much 100% win rate. So as long as we can maintain 100% win rate, it's going to come down to how well you score. So as long as we maximize score, we should be fine. Or at least be in a running for it, if nothing else. Alright, we're good to go there. We're good to go there. Alright, we're up to PvP. Which, of course, we have a brand new PvP reset as of today. And with that, we're going to be focusing on trying to get the new Immortal upgraded. And get all those objectives done so that we can keep getting that. Which means I'm probably going to bring out the tokens again that we were using near the end of last season. I think it's time to go bring them out once again. Let's go get our boost first, and then we'll go bring it out. Wait, you got 5-0 all last week? That's actually insane. Because last week was a very, very, very hard week to actually 5-0 the whole thing. I should have taken that the other way. That's fine. The Hero Doom weapon. All the way, it's fast startup, cleansing plus barrier technique. That did it. Oh yeah, this is something I didn't really utilize much last week. The Brown Doomed Spade. My concern with that every time was like Elementalist teams. But it definitely was a strategy go down. Like just build out pure brown and just go spam that until you win. Freeze was just a really big liability for it. Yeah, we got all that. We'll still need to go do the central battles real quick. Oh, nice. We got Dragon. That's going to be really free. Let's go get our few battles here. And what I am going to do is set our medal again for double VP. Honestly, we're probably going to run that until we have 180,000. I don't think I'm even going to remove that until we have 180,000. It'll just save us a lot of time getting extra VP per battle. Actually, is that double or 50%? I don't remember. I think it's double. So it'll quite literally half the time it'll take to go and get it completed. So we're going to keep that on until we have 180,000 eventually. Or these things basically don't come off. Yeah, it is double. But that thing's not going to come off until we have 180,000 VP. How do we not have full mana? Alright, it should be the Vast Valraven battle we need. Then we'll go take out the really free dragon restriction. And then the only thing we have to go do is Underspire then. And we are in the clear. Alright, all that's cleared out. Go to dragon, go to middle, go to battle, go to... what do we want here? Well, obviously we know what we want, but... how do we want to build out the rest of the team? Essentia... The Empower Yellow Dragon and Wand of Stars into Yellow Banner. And just because we're going all dragon, might as well go Dragon Guard as well. I believe we get like slightly better magic for that. It's not much, but it's like 5 magic. And then banner is I guess it's all in yellow. Yellow, 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 and it should be good to go. Alright. And it was immediately convert into yellow, get full mana, cast Wand of Stars, boom, win. There's the game plan. What's your exact color convert again? Brown to yellow. And then we cast Flower Dragon or Wand of Stars if we don't already have it. And then let's repeat until we just auto-win every battle instantly. Good old standard dragon team. But it's kind of funny how strong Flower Dragon is, that even though Glacia is really good in this location, especially with how upgraded we have it, it's not even worth running Glacia. Just from how much more value we get from Flower Dragon. Ooh, does the guild have a pet active right now? I don't think we do. We can go get one active for the guild. I'm doing that so we can get a convert. Perfect. We did not ruin it. Let's see, do we get a pet choice here? Aw, boo. Guild already had a pet active. We didn't get the cool little pet upgrade screen. I don't feel like I've actually gotten to see it that many times. Ever since they changed it. I think I've only gotten it like 24 times since the change. Yet the update has been out for like, what, 4 or 5 months now? It was in November, so it's been like 3 months. Or at least a solid 2 months. But I think I've only seen it like 24 times. Not because I haven't found pet gnomes, but because there always seems to be a pet active whenever I actually finally find one. You don't see a pet active? That's weird. Maybe I did it on like the last possible second. Because I didn't get a pet choice screen. Unless someone else in the guild got it at the same time or something. Alright, there we go. That's PvP dailies completed. Though I will be grinding it out a little bit more focused so we can get some of the objectives done later. But some of them that we gotta let stack up. This is the only one we can like mega grind right now if we really want to. Let's try to get VP directly for this screen. One thing we could actually do right now, you know what we can go do? Let me go to PvP shop. And we did get 2 of these earlier when we were messing around with opening some of this stuff. So let me go crack those open now. And make sure that the points register. And just crack these open real quick just to get one of those extra rewards. Because the very first one that you get actually gives you quite a bit of points. Oh no! I forgot, the first reward isn't auto-claimed. It's the second one that you get the 150 copies on. Oh no. Oh, we're not quite getting that yet then. Let's see, how far would that get us? 150 there, then 50 there. 200 more. Where'd that bring him? Doesn't that get him fully traded? I'm pretty sure that gets him fully traded so we can cover a video on it this Friday. We should have that just from dailies before Friday. Yeah, he'd be fully traded by then, easily. Where's the screen breakdown? Oh yeah, the 150 that you get from that is already enough to do that on its own. Not even counting anything else. The 150 is already like level... Actually, it gets you exactly to level 5. If that was the only points you had. It would get you exactly to level 5. Interesting. Also, Immortal Pet. They end up giving it stats, right? How'd you completely forget? That's what the Immortal Pets do, right? Pets, Immortal... Actually, does it come up for Immortal? Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does give extra stats to the Immortals. Just double checking. Which definitely adds up. They're already gaining other stats from other buffs as well. It's just even another way. Oh, someone actually claimed it for us. Yeah, this was the code we just handed out. Yeah, the Australia Day 2021 pet. As well as some pet food that came with it. Pretty minuscule amount though. Only 5. But that should be everything then. Okay, I think we only have to go to Underspire then. We'll keep poking PvP, and maybe this Friday we'll go cover a video on the Mythic then. Since by then we'll 100% have it fully traded. I would have had some time to have messed around with them. Alright, so only thing we have to go do for now then is Underspire. Well, let's get to it. Do I have the team saved? I do not. Alright, let me go copy paste it from the Monday video. Which, of course, if you guys need any teams for the week, all of them are on the Monday video as per usual. In the pinned comment and description. Yeah, let's grab the Underspire team. Don't think we need to change much other than, I guess, go all in Rubraf for the earlier battles. As we're not really going to need to cast anything other than Rubraf. At least for the really early section. Obviously, as we go deeper, we're going to need to utilize a bit more mechanics. But for a lot of the earlier end, it just immediately casts Rubraf and then win. Alright, should be good to go. Oh yeah, I just saw the little Finn one, but yeah, he just got activated like right before we found ours. Someone got us like literally a minute beforehand. Oh yeah, one thing that's nice about that one useless mythic that we're using on our team. Not Rubraf, the other one. He does do 12 damage per extra, not per extra turn, per yellow that you take. So every time we take yellow, even if it's a 3-pair, we will do 12 damage to a random enemy. It's actually a pretty substantial amount of damage. There's almost no context you would ever use it other than Suncrest. But given that you're doing so much yellow off of most Suncrest teams, it's actually not horrible. His ability is basically just weaker Zolgoth, like way weaker Zolgoth. It was in their era where they were adding like a billion different alternative Zolgoth troops that were all weaker than them. But his final trait is actually not bad. 12 damage per purple taken. Adds up to be a lot of damage. Hello, Chris Purpose. Welcome, welcome. As I said, that better be full mana. Oh yeah, I ended up sleeping last night. I just ended up waking up early. I think I woke up by like 6 o'clock. It's actually an issue I've been having lately. I've been naturally waking up really, really early. Like, my average amount of sleep lately has been 4 to 6 hours, even if I try to get a higher amount of sleep. I think it's because the temperature lately has been all over the place. Which has been messing with my sleep. But yeah, I think my average sleep lately has been like 5.5 hours. Even if I'm trying to get like 8 or 10 hours. You should get 6 to 9 hours of sleep. Oh, Lester. Yeah, my goal for the Goblin this season is to get it to around like 23 to 25-ish if we can. I don't plan to spend any extra money beyond the pass to try to get it up low. But I will be hoarding my burning marks to try to throw it down on a really good week. Ooh, double dead end. Yes, this is the first targetable immortal that is actually really, really good. We've had really good immortals before, but this is the first one that is both absurdly good, but also targetable. Out of all the ones that I would say are absurdly good that has ever come out are Immortal Ossifer, but has never been targetable. Immortal Infernax, but has never been targetable. And the one that just came out this season, which is the first one of them that has been targetable. That's not to say that other mythics or other immortals were bad. As far as like the absurdly good ones, this is the first one of them that's been targetable. Because Immortal Fernax is just pre-nerf Great Maul back when it was the most broken with Invulnerable. The only thing that's different about it is when fully maxed is its ability is a little bit different since it doesn't have Devour on ability. It just gains a bunch of stats and everything. And the other thing that's different is the glitch doesn't work anymore. Where it used to be able to 4 times Devour with its 15%. Because now the max you can ever get per instance is 1 Devour. Since that glitch no longer exists. But other than that, it's basically just a stronger version with a slightly different ability. Not counting the glitched ability that's been fixed. Compared to like peak Great Maul being broken. Back before it was nerfed into the ground like 3 times over. And of course, Ossifer's main gimmick is 4 times Curse Stun once it gets fully maxed, which is insane. On top of its really good Skull Spam. Which is still the best, most accessible way for early game to get Skull Spam. The absolute easiest is obviously Skeleton as a common. But your next Skull Spammer for early game after Skeleton as a common is generally going to be Ossifer, oddly enough. As I would say it's easier to get Ossifer than it is to get Keeper of Souls. And Ossifer is basically a stronger Keeper of Souls. Not always, though. There's some situations where you still run Keeper. Alright, 2 battles left. Unfortunately, I don't think there's much we can do with it. But there's only one path to go, so let's go over there. Yeah, they end up nerfing Great Maul a couple times. The first nerf was, they nerfed him from 15% Devour to 10% Devour. They then nerfed the trait by not being able to multi-trigger anymore. Which they end up doing to a lot of things in the game, not just Great Maul. But it affected Great Maul the most since it could literally 4 times Devour a battle even at 10% Devour rate. And then they nerfed him by giving his Devour trait. Like, they literally got rid of his Devour trait, moved it on to Krog the Dread, and then nerfed it even further from 10% to 5%. So yeah, he got nerfed 3 times. And that's also not even counting them adding Devour immunity, I believe, at one point. So technically got nerfed 4 times. One of them being indirectly. But, I do feel like they over-nerfed him a bit. Like, there's no reason he shouldn't still have Devour on Skull. Even if they had to nerf it down to 5% like what they give the Krog the Dread. Like, I don't understand why they didn't just keep it on Great Maul, but nerf it all the way to 5%. But instead, they nerfed it down to 5% and moved it to a different troop. Just so he wouldn't have Devour on ability and on trait. That I never understood. Because I feel like to this day, Great Maul should still have his Devour on Skull, even if they nerfed it all the way to 5%. It has always seemed weird that they moved it to a different troop. Because after they nerfed the multi-Devour, you know, it wasn't really that strong anymore. Since you could no longer multi-trigger it. But yeah, they literally moved it over to Krog the Dread. They, it originally was 15% while still be able to multi-Devour. Then they nerfed it to 10% while being able to multi-Devour. Then they fixed the multi-Devour glitch, as well as many other glitches that occurred for many other final traits. And then they still nerfed it again by removing the Devour on Great Maul, moving it to Krog the Dread, and then nerfing it to 5%, down from 10%, down from 15%. And of course, Great Maul these days has, I forget what it even is, something pretty pointless. Yeah, it just gains like 2 to all stats when it takes a skull, really bad. It's basically nothing. It's a way weaker version of what the Immortals get. Or not Immortals, whatever those mythics are called. Like Zolgoth and such. They all have that one final trait that gives them like 5 to all stats when they take a skull. It's just a really way weaker version of that. Like a way weaker. Obviously that didn't exist at the time. But just a substantially weaker version of what those troops already have. Let's go do 7 battles real quick. As I needed to go get our max stats. So, you know what? Let's go grab it. I don't know. Where can we get a quick 7 battles that's actually relevant? I don't know, do pet battles count? Let me just do the pet real quick, I guess. I already have it max, but, you know, let's go get some extra pet food. In case we ever need it. I'll go clear out the pet for once. That's something I normally do, but as long as this counts as battles for it, I don't see why not. I think it does, I actually don't remember. Yeah, it does. Okay, let's just do the pet battles real quick then. As these count for star... These are eligible for stars for the weekly. I always keep forgetting what isn't. There's a lot of arbitrary things that just don't count for it for some reason. But doing pet battles is one of them that does count. But if anyone still has any other questions, anyone want me to go over, let me know. Because once we go finish that star objective, I'll probably call it for now. As far as other streams for Gems of War this week, we're probably not going to do one all the way until Sunday. In which case we'll be doing the final Underspire stream. Well, not final Underspire, you know what I mean. It'll be us finishing the final achievements for the most recent 9.0 patch. So we'll be doing a ton of torches, probably do like 100 of them or however many we're going to be doing. I'll be doing that on Sunday night, as well as weekly spoilers and all that stuff. And hopefully this Friday, I'm not sure for sure if we'll be doing it this week, but hopefully this Friday we'll cover a video on the new Mythic, the Goblin one. As by that point I should have them fully traded and would have experimented with them a little bit. And see what kind of teams we can end up coming up with. I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot of things they'll be used for in the future though, beyond what we're going to show. There's a lot of potential for a lot of different teams. We'll cover like 3 initially, just to kind of see. Alright, that should be all of the stars, but since we're already at the pet battle, might as well go for it. Gosh, Flower Dragon is so broken. Remember when it almost seemed like we wouldn't be able to one-shot the 8th pet battle? Now Flower Dragon overshoots it by so much damage. That even with 25% spell reduction is almost going to get the one-shot soon. With just a little bit more magic. Ah, there we go. Ooh, VIP keys. Oh, we're getting close to the end of the season, aren't we? We're going to have a new mythic to go over soon. I believe it was pretty bad, wasn't it, though? But in 3 more weeks, we get the shiny level 2 mythic thingy. Where is it? Where is it? How am I this blind? This is 7. There's 8. There's 9. There it is. Steal a bunch of life from 3 random enemies, boosted by bleed gems. It ends its turn. Why are so many things from Golvania like this? They do a bunch of true damage, but then immediately end their turn doing nothing. Like, yes, Tesla does that, but Tesla does, like, infinite damage. Create a bleed gem once my turn begins. Oh, no, it's just not that much. It creates 1 purple gem every turn, has a little bit of spell reduction, and has an okay amount of lifesteal. It's not great. Its boost ratio based on bleed gems is kind of good. But even in, like, a mega best case scenario, let's say there's, like, 10 bleed gems on the board. That's only 3 instances of, like, 100 true damage. That's not nothing, but that's not amazing for how much setup you need to make it work. But yeah, it's really mediocre. I guess this bleed boost ratio maybe becomes a bit better once it's fully, or you know, once it has the level 2 perk. But even at an 8 times boost ratio, that's still only 130 true damage 3 times. Which is a pretty substantial amount of true damage, particularly earlier in the game. But it requires a lot of setup compared to just click Tesla and win. Like double cast Tesla. It's just a lot of setup compared to just double casting Tesla. To the point that you're pretty much never using it outside of like Golvania Event Week or something similar. Maybe Undead. But there's so many other ways to win with Undead. that you're pretty much just using it for Golvania only. As a Draculus replacement instead of, because I don't think you replace Crimson Bat because you need the bleed synergy. So you're really just replacing out Draculus, I guess. As it's basically an alternative version of Draculus. Because Draculus has score reduction where she has spell reduction. So it's basically like the spell reduction form of Draculus in a sense. While also having bleed. As he has 4 times for life but has no boost ratio. Where she hits 3 but has boost ratio from bleed gems while creating bleed gems. And she has spell reduction instead of armored. But yeah, she's basically the spell reduction Draculus, essentially. Just with some, like, bleed mechanic synergy over top of it. But that's all she is. It's nothing really that unique. But anyways. But yeah, I'll call it for now. We will be back on Sunday to go wrap up all the things. Hopefully we'll have a video out this Friday going over the new modal of the new Goblin guys. See what we can end up coming up with for some teams for it. And yeah, we'll go from there. And this Sunday, we'll go and do the entirety of Underspire. And we'll just keep poking at PvP, as I do want to try to get as deep as we can get. Because we end up buying the pass this time around. So we do want to go and make a lot of progress in it. In order to go get all of the seasonal rewards. So we can go get the Troop Max. So we can start using it for a lot of teams. I don't think we'd ever bring it into our daily rotation of teams. But there are definitely meta options that we'll be utilizing here and there for various stuff. What's the Friday's event? The Friday event is for faction. We're just getting a new troop for Sea of Sorrows. It's a brown-blue restriction. The same team that you use for Tuesday event, you can use for Friday if you make it pure brown. As both Friday and Tuesday both use a brown team. Because tomorrow's brown-yellow and then this weekend is brown-blue. So if you use a brown team for both, you don't even need to change your team. You can literally use the same one for both. But yeah, it's Sea of Sorrows event. The troop that we're getting for it's not that relevant though. The meta is still going to be to use the old team, which is this one right here. Like, the meta hasn't changed. It's still going to be Hammerclaw, Sea Witch, and Double Deep King. You could replace one Deep King with the new support troop that's coming out, but I'd rather personally just have Double Deep King. It costs you some bonuses, but I think it's worth it for the for just how much stronger Deep King is than the new one that's coming out. Do I think this campaign mythic is good? No. It's very average. Which has pretty much been all the campaign mythics. Like, you'll definitely live without having it, but having it gives you, like, a niche situation where you might use it. The biggest issue with the campaign mythic this season is you're basically only ever using it for Golvania. I don't think you're ever going to use it for Undead, because there's better Skull spam teams you could be using. And I don't think you're ever really going to be using it for, you know, a normal team. As there's better bleed options, there's better true damage options. It's basically exclusively going to be used for Golvania, and that's it. So whenever a Golvania restriction comes up. Which is very limited as far as when you can bring it out. It's not a bad mythic. It's just, like, right at the middle line of between, like, being decent enough to use and dead content. It's an area that a lot of things tend to fall into. Where it's not bad, per se. But it's not great to really use, even with all of its shininess and everything. It's a big issue a lot of troops have. Do you remember the gem cost to fully max a faction on event weekends? Isn't it like 1,000 something? I think it's like 1,850, isn't it? Like almost 2,000. Yeah, it's been so long since I've done it as well. Isn't it almost 2,000 gems? Does anyone remember? I haven't done it in so long. Because I think you have to buy the final tier, like the one that gives you extra battles, like 1 or 2 times. Depending on RNG and everything. But, yeah, I actually forget. It's actually been so long. I literally haven't needed to do a faction like that in like 5 years or something. It's been that long. So I actually don't remember. I could have sworn it's like 1,850 or 2,350 or something gems. Somewhere's around there. But it's been so long, I honestly do not know. But anyways, guys, have a wonderful week. I'll catch you guys later. Best of luck with the new PvP season, and I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye, everyone. And thanks for watching.